Hi, I'm Danny Knightmare. Let me know if you can hear me. We got Katie from Popping the Popcorn and my wife, Gory Movie. How you two ladies doing? Gory, I have to agree. This movie is a lot like Attack the Block meets The Thing. Has a very similar vibe where it's kind of like a bunch of kids and they have to go up against space visitors. Whew. I just got off work. Normally I would do this at 7 o'clock, but I actually had to work on a Tuesday, so we're doing it at 7:30. And I'm catching up on a lot of my 2022 movies, 2022 movies, because we got the Oscars coming up. So there's like ones that just didn't get watched during the year, and I got to catch up on them. And this is probably one of the best ones I saw recently. Hey, we got Fairpoint Station. How you doing? But yeah, I saw this and just 2 days ago, and actually it was pretty damn good. Um, Basically relatively made by people who have very new to making movies. We have the director Nyla Inuk Suk. I probably butchered that last name and I apologize, but this is her first movie. She's done a couple shorts, it looks like. I think she did a pretty damn good job. And the cast, they're all native to up in I believe this takes place up in Canada, but they're all natives, Inuits, and I don't know. Some of them are really good. I'm not gonna say everybody in this movie was a amazing actor, but the ones that it really focuses on did a very solid job. There's a few that you can see maybe that's why they only got a few parts here and there. I mean, it's a lot of kids too, so that's why it's like hard to work with children. I would understand that. Most of these kids, they're good. They're damn good. Some of them, like no one was that bad where I couldn't watch the movie or like really took me out of it. I could just see that some really excelled, and I'm very impressed. Is all I'm saying. It's about a group of girls that basically don't like their little fishing town because there's nothing really to do other than fish and even hunt and target practice. But ammunition is so much. They don't have a whole lot. Even the girl who has a rifle and her dad taught her how to shoot, she doesn't want to waste her ammunition just shooting because she knows she already knows how to shoot. Even though the other ones kind of want her to prove it. You got like your tough girl. Um, yeah, like Mike, Maka. Like I said, I'm not saying these names probably correctly. She's your main girl. She just kind of hates her town. There's nothing to do here. And sometimes when I see that in movies, and even me as a teenager was like that, and I'm like, oh yeah. But honestly, with these girls, I can kind of see why. There's not a lot of opportunities, and you get kind of sick of just seeing the small amount of same stuff that you see in your little village. Yuki, she's like kind of the tough girl, almost wants to be like a bully, but the other girls keep her in check. But she will go out and do everything she can to prove herself that she is a badass. Like, and as the movie goes out, I would say she kind of proves she is a badass. Hey, we got Ariel in the chat now. How we doing, Ariel? I don't expect a lot of people to see this. There might be a little bit of a spoiler section as I talk about the creature itself, but I'm not going to ever give away the ending of this movie, even when we get to the spoiler part. Right now, I just basically want to say it's about three main girls. Lena would be the next girl. Um, they are kind of just together, and they go out. They take boats, and they make deals with little girls, like the littlest kids, like who want to be cool like them, and won't tell the parents as long as they get a little something too. But yeah, they just go out and cause pretty harmless mischief. There is a officer who's always checking out these kids. He thinks they might be smoking weed or something. He's always on their ass. Officer Levrev. I don't know. He's played by Sean Benson. And they have their parents, but their parents don't do much. They like to get drunk and go out dancing, and they do every night or every weekend, anyways. And teenagers, they try to have little house parties and just like I said, cause mostly mischief that doesn't cause any real damage. Yuki can get a little out of hand because she's always out to prove herself. But basically, like the thing, it's very this isn't a spoiler. This alien, maybe on the poster there, comes down and crashes into their little iceberg nearby, and it forms. It kind of reminds me of Slither too, like Attack the Block, Slither, the Thing, because it's not as great at shape shifting as the Thing is. It's a little different than that. In fact, just because I'm going to go about the monster itself, that is a mild spoiler. I mean, there is one, but just because there is one, I will say there's a little bit of spoilage there. So I'm not gonna tell you the ending, but okay. So basically, this worm comes out of this weird living meaty meteorite, and it shoots into the things. It gets into bears. It gets into foxes. It gets into a lot of animals, but then it starts getting into people, and it's like they just have these weird worms inside them. Like that's why I thought this shirt was kind of fitting. Hey, we got Kevin, Haunted by Horror. How we doing, man? And yeah, so they just they're not as good as the thing as disguising themselves as people. They walk weird. They almost look like they're wearing rubber masks, and there's a lot of CGI for the worms. And no, I wouldn't say all the effects look good. Even like the masks, like out of context, that wouldn't look good. But they comment on it. They hollow you out. It also reminds me of Men in Black, the original, with the cockroach guy and how he eats the farmer's skin and like it wears him like a thing, like a rubber mask. It's very much like that. And so I don't know if they probably didn't have that big of a budget, but I think from what they did really well. Like the polar bear just looks messed up, and they're even talking about that. Like that polar bear looks weird. Like maybe he's all messed up on rabies. Like that's not what being messed up on rabies looks like. It's funny though, because like this worm creature, it needs blood to stay functioning, just even to move around, even to try and kill people. It needs blood. It runs low. It gets tired. It gets slow. It needs to refill. And the girls are pretty smart to all this. They kind of realize how they can use its weaknesses against it. And they're pretty badass. They go around fighting it. And, they make up plans. And this little local boy, he tries to help them out. And he kind of got a crush on one of them. But then one of them has a crush on him that might not be the same one. It becomes a little bit of a mess. But the girls, they prove that they're the badass. And even though he's got a cool, like, quad Honda to ride on and it's helpful, he's tagging along on them. He ain't there to save them. He's there to help them. These girls kick ass. And I just thought this was a great little movie with some natives that, kick ass. It's it's a good movie no matter what your gender is. But I think if you are a teenage girl, you would probably really be able to relate to these girls and you would feel empowered to kick ass too. I like it when there's representation for movies. I remember when I was young, I liked it when kids kicked ass. Like I love Chucky and stuff because, Andy was a kid. He had to take him on himself. A lot of the ones that take on Jason and Freddy are teenagers, and as a little kid, I felt like, well, he doesn't really go after me. But sometimes, like the Goonies and Monster Squad, those were like some of my favorite movies. The Goonies and Monster Squad when I grew up. This is a very much, I think, this type of movie of nowadays generation. I think some younger people might latch onto this. I don't know if they're allowed to see it. It is pretty violent, but overall, it's not bad. I think you could show this to most kids, and they would probably be okay. I mean, depending on their age, but this is pretty like starter horror, which we're always talking about, like how to get kids into horror movies. I think this one would definitely be a more modern day movie that you could help. Judging on your kid, and you should know your kid enough. But this isn't too bad. Like, there's nothing too violent in this, and there's nothing like raunchy or gross about it either. So I think this is something that you could kind of show young ones and help them get into horror, and they'll feel like pretty badass, like they want to kick ass like these kids. That's how I was at that age. So fair point. Three Ninjas, yeah. Three Ninjas made me want to kick some ass too. At least the first one. I love that first one. Rocky loves Emily. Rocky loves Emily. And the Karate Kid. I still love the Karate Kid. I mean, I based my wrestling gimmick around that. Yeah, I don't think a lot of people. Haunted by Horror says I haven't heard. Let's see here. Not best at these things. Select. There we go. It's not showing up for some reason. Oh well. Kevin brings out a point. I haven't heard of this movie, but I watched the trailer and notification about the stream, and it seems pretty interesting. Yeah, I would recommend it. I think this movie flew under a lot of radars. I didn't know about it until recently either. That's one of the reasons why I didn't watch it last year. But I'm glad that I have checked it out now. There's a few that I'm still like going through. Gory obviously is going through them as well. But we're trying to get the Oscars good to go. So we got to finish up some of these last ones. I'd like some recommendations for any 2022 movies you haven't seen us do a live review for, so I can maybe do it for the next couple of weeks if you got any. Um, yeah, we're checking out a lot of movies. Otherwise, you're just gonna get stuff that I see, and some of them are gonna be a little more obscure at the moment. unless you guys give me a good recommendation of something I haven't reviewed yet. But obscure does not mean bad. Like, I don't think a lot of people know about this movie, but this was definitely one I would say you should definitely see it. Definitely check it out. And that's about all I got to say about it, because I think the effects were good for what they used. The acting's really good, most of all around. The directing is good, and it's right out of the gate for a lot of these people. I don't think most people don't have much. There's not much on anybody's IMDb here, so kind of little short films like they're messing around, and I don't know how they got their budget, but they used their budget well. We need to watch Hatching and Piggy. Yes, Gory. Yeah, okay, and Megan, obviously. I think next week's definitely gonna be Megan. We're gonna check out Megan this weekend, so Tuesday. But sometimes I'll do two of these in a row because, like this one, it's already short. Like I like to keep it sweet and short. I want to have something to talk about, but I don't need to go on them for a long time, so you can always do two. And maybe I'll even do Mondays because I have Mondays off, and sometimes I have nothing else to do on a Monday. If it depends on how many people are requesting movies. All right. Well, anyways, hey, hold on real quick. Movie Massacre. What's up, homie? Well, just getting ready to go see AW with you tomorrow. We got Rich Movie Massacre, and me and him are gonna be on TV on TBS. If you're watching AW, it should be pretty easy to find us. We're on the opposite end of the hard cam, so we're gonna be on TV almost the entire time in the background of the matches. We're like in the 5th row, right there on the floor. You should see us a lot. We got tons of signs. So check it out if you watch wrestling. Make sure you watch tomorrow's episode of AEW Dynamite. We will be there, Movie Massacre and myself. But yeah, I would say this movie, not scary, but very disturbing. Like I said, they have weird rubber masks, but that's just how the people look because they all got the weird worms inside of them. And there's a part where one of the masks get ripped off, and those worms come spilling out, and it looks real creepy. It's like unsettling, kind of like Wrinkles the Clown's mask, but not so much a clown, but just the mask that he wears. Anyways, yeah, I got a lot of signs. Gory's right. She's seen some of them. I gotta make a few more tonight. So I'm gonna sign off, but thank you guys for watching, and tune in next week. We will do Megan, and maybe something else. We'll see. All right. Anyways, cut.